Have you ever tried selling something online and suddenly realized you think it's worth way more than anyone else does? The strange part is, 5 minutes before listing it, you didn't even care that much about it. But the moment it becomes yours, your brain quietly upgrades it from random object to valuable treasure. Welcome to something psychologists call the endowment effect. Here's the idea in simple terms. People tend to place a higher value on things once they feel they own them. Not because the object actually changed, but because their relationship with it changed. The moment your brain labels something as mine, it starts protecting it like territory. That old coffee mug on your desk, to someone else, it's a 50-cent thrift store item. But to you, it's the mug that survived 3 job changes, 2 stressful Mondays, and at least 1 emotional life decision made at 2 a.m. Suddenly, that mug isn't just ceramic anymore. It's history. This effect shows up everywhere. You see it when someone tries to sell their used couch online for almost the same price they bought it. You see it when people refuse to trade fantasy football players they clearly should trade. You even see it when someone says, "Yeah, I know the market price is lower, but this one is special." In reality, the item didn't become more valuable. Your brain simply attached identity to it, and once identity gets involved, logic quietly leaves the room. Psychologists have studied this in experiments for decades. One classic setup is surprisingly simple. Give half the people in a room a cheap coffee mug. The other half gets nothing. Then ask everyone 2 questions. How much would you sell the mug for, and how much would you pay to buy one? Here's the weird part. The people who already had the mug typically demanded 2 or 3 times more money than the buyers were willing to pay. Same mug, same room, same 5 minutes of ownership, but ownership alone made it feel more valuable. Your brain isn't trying to be irrational, it's actually doing something ancient. From an evolutionary perspective, protecting what you own was a survival strategy. If early humans easily gave away their tools, food, or shelter, they probably didn't last very long. So the brain developed a simple rule: what's mine matters more. The problem is that that rule still runs today, even when the valuable resource is a used phone charger or a pair of sneakers you haven't worn since 2018. And the endowment effect doesn't just affect stuff, it affects ideas, opinions, plans, even bad decisions. The longer something feels like yours, the harder it becomes to let it go, which is why people sometimes defend terrible business ideas, keep investments that clearly aren't working, or refuse to change opinions even when new information appears. Letting go doesn't feel like updating a decision, it feels like losing something that belonged to you. Once you see this effect, it starts showing up everywhere. When someone says, "I know it's not perfect, but I've already put so much into it," or when you hesitate to sell something you barely use, but suddenly feel protective the moment someone offers a lower price. That's not the object talking, that's your brain defending ownership. And here's the interesting twist. The endowment effect can make us overvalue what we already have, while completely overlooking opportunities we don't own yet. In other words, sometimes the biggest thing holding us back isn't a lack of options, it's the quiet psychological weight of the things we already call mine.